So it was June 13th. So she got killed. She and Ron got killed on the 12th. It was the 13th. And I was asleep. I was doing it like I was asleep. I wasn't working at the time. I belonged to a temp agency at the time. And I just woke up to these horrific screams as if like every horror movie that all of us have witnessed put together. It was like culminated into one scream, and it was Denise. And she was coming down the hallway, and from what I heard, because Denise's room was in the middle of the hallway, then it was my room, and then her son's room, because we all lived together. And I woke up, and next thing I know, I'm in Sean's room, and Denise was crying profusely, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And she goes, Coco's dead. And I'm like, Coco? And I'm like, Coco? And she goes, Nicole. And I'm like, Nicole? She goes, your sister. And I'm like, first thing out of my mouth, I was like, how? I go, you guys just saw her last night. And she goes, no. She goes, Coco's dead. And I was like, whew. I go down the hallway. You know the hallway, Cato. So I walk down the hallway, and my mom was to the left sitting at the kitchen table, and she was white as a ghost. I mean, white. And I go, Dita, is it true? She couldn't answer. No affect, like nothing, like robbed of everything. And so I went to my dad. I went to the back of the house to where my parents' bathroom was. And I said, Daddy, is it true? He had his forearm or his forehead on his forearm, and he was just pounding the table like this. And I go, Daddy, is it true? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, not knowing what was happening. So I called my friend Missy, and I'm like, Missy, I go, Nicole just got killed. And she was like, oh my God, like how? And so back in the 90s, right, it was kind of like the drive-bys were a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I go, Missy, I don't know. I go, I think it's a drive-by. I go, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And then my temp agency called me and said, hey, we need you to be on an assignment. And I'm like, I can't go. I just heard that my sister died. Difference later on, she didn't die. She got killed. Right. So, but at that time, I was like, Betsy, I can't. Like, my sister just died last night. And she was like, oh my God. Then I had to call Minnie. It was either, I remember I called Minnie, but then Denise remembers that she called. Again, it's like 30 years later, right? So I don't know who called, but I'm like, Minnie, you need to come home. Like, Nick died. And then it was like stillness in our home. And then I remember media, like the media didn't contact us at all. I remember our neighbors and our community friends were like, turn on the news. And when we turned on the news, that's where I saw Nick at the bottom of the stairs covered by cheat.
That's when you found out how it happened, right?
Not how it happened. It was like,
you just saw the body.
Right? Yeah. So here she is at the bottom of the steps and covered in a white sheet. And my mom and I were standing in our living room, and she just squeezed my hand and she goes, that's my kid. Every time I look at the news and I see somebody covered with a white sheet or a tarp, I don't care what that person did. At the end of the day, that is someone's kid. I have a total different perspective of this kind of tragedy.
At that time, was Denise saying OJ did this in the house?
Immediately from what I heard, I wasn't there to witness, but I think Denise had heard screams from I'm just remembering from stories I've heard that Denise heard cries and screams from my parents' bedroom. And I guess my mom was on her knees, and then Tom Lang was on the phone, and I think Denise intercepted and said he finally did it.